everyone, welcome back to another Bible in a Year Monday. So in our readings lately, we've been seeing a lot of Jesus's authority from the Father in heaven. Yesterday we read about how Jesus cast out the legion of demons and sent them into the pigs because he had the authority over those demons. We saw the centurion who said, I know what it's like to have authority. I am a man who has authority myself, and if I say the word, things get done. So Jesus, just say the word, and I know that my daughter will be healed. And it was so because Jesus had that authority. But here's the thing too. Just because Jesus had the authority, there was also another component to these healings and miracles. And we see that today. Jesus asked the blind men, do you believe that I can do this? And they said, yes, we believe. And so they were healed. And Jesus says, it's by your faith that you've been healed. And Jesus commends quite a few people that have miracles performed for them. You will see Jesus commend their faith. He looks at them and he says, wow, what faith you have. And it's beautiful, and I feel like when we have the concept of Jesus's authority or our authority through Jesus, and this concept of faith, the faith to receive, the faith that Jesus is who he says he is, that is when something miraculous happens. That is when the kingdom shifts. It's awesome. But just because Jesus has the authority and the ability doesn't mean that it will always be received. So we see that Jesus visits his hometown and no miracles were able to be performed. And it's not because Jesus didn't have the authority or the ability, but it's because they lacked the faith in that town. They did not want to receive the truth about who Jesus was. They looked at him and they said, isn't this Mary and Joseph's kid? Didn't we see him scrape his knee when he was 10 years old and wipe his boogers when he was 5? Because they saw Jesus grow up, but they didn't accept the fact that he was who he said he was, and he had the authority that he said they did because they were too familiar. And I think sometimes we can kind of become complacent in our own identity. I remember years and years ago, a former mentor of mine, a father figure in the church, a spiritual father to me, wanted me to help him lead a group. And I remember him telling me years later that when he presented that to somebody, their response was, why? Why would you want her to help you? And he said, because I truly believe she has the ability and the passion to do so. He had that faith in me and that confidence in me that I probably didn't even have at the time. And it grew me as a leader, and it grew me in my faith as well. And when he told me that, even years later, I was almost discouraged by that knowledge that was the response. But here's the thing, and he encouraged me with this. He said, a prophet is not without honor in their hometown. They saw your salvation, and they saw when you were broken, and they saw the person you were before you became a new creation, and they forgot that there was a transformation. They didn't see that you went from here to here, and that's why they didn't give you the credit that you were due. And that was such an encouraging word for me, because when I read this story and I see that Jesus goes to his hometown and, he is almost ignored or disregarded, it doesn't shake his identity. He doesn't become discouraged. He doesn't get thrown off track. He's on a mission, and he knows who he is, and he knows whose he is. He is sent from the Father in heaven to perform miracles, to bring salvation to us, and he never gets off track. And that's such a powerful example for us to remember our mission within the kingdom, and remember who gives us the authority, and remember whose we are and who our identity is rooted in. So Jesus also explains to the disciples, he says, sometimes you're going to enter into a town and they're going to accept you and they're going to want the things that you have for them. And when that happens, you bring your peace with you and let it rest with them. And there you'll all be at peace. You'll all work together. It's going to be harmonious. But there are also going to be times where you enter a town and they want nothing to do with you. So what do? You don't get disgruntled You don't forget your identity. You take your peace back because you still need that peace, because it's a peace that surpasses understanding. It's a supernatural peace that comes from the Father, not from them, not from the world, not from the town that doesn't want you. It is a supernatural peace from the Father. So he says, take your peace back, dust off your boots, and keep walking, because there's more work to do. You're not finished. This is not the end. Keep going. That's so encouraging. And thank God I kept going, because I don't know what I would do without my faith today. And I'm glad it didn't shake me off my path. And I'm glad it didn't discourage me from making connections with others based on the confidence that grew in me in that season of my life. I know sometimes I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but that's okay, because I like coffee anyway. Somebody needs to hear your story. Somebody needs to hear your testimony. But if you encounter somebody who doesn't want to receive what you have for them, take your peace back, hold it with you, dust off your boots, and keep on walking. Because Jesus gives us the authority as believers to do some of the same things that he does throughout these scriptures that we read, and even more so because there are so many more of us operating with the Holy Spirit. The same Spirit that was inside of Jesus now lives in us. Jesus gave authority to the disciples within these readings today and says, I'm giving you the authority to go out, and you've watched me for so long. Now I want you to follow my example. So the disciples go out and they take his advice, and he says, listen, there are so many people out there who need healing, who need encouragement, who need God, who need God. And if you don't go, they may never have that. So keep going, find someone who will accept you, and only take what you need. And in that, I can imagine the disciples are like, okay, you're sending us out as sheep among wolves, and also don't take anything extra. And also they're going to be people who don't want us to stay in their house. And also we might get arrested, or probably will, because eventually people don't want to hear about this Messiah. And don't worry about what I'm going to say. So don't prepare that God's going to provide what to eat, what to wear, what to say. Okay. So when we say the harvest is plenty, but the workers are few, it's because the work is hard. It's because our calling is difficult. It's scary. We don't always know what the next step is, but we know that God is a trustworthy God, and that he will provide, and he will be with us in our journeys, in our travels, in our struggles, in our ministries, as long as we keep focused on him first. So that's my encouragement today. At the end, the very last section of our reading, I love how Luke summarizes literally everything we read into like 6 sentences. He says, so he got the disciples. He told them what to do. Don't take anything extra. Take your peace with you. Don't give it to anybody who doesn't deserve it, who's not worthy of it. Keep your peace with you. Keep moving. Keep in your identity. And by the authority that Jesus gave you, you're going to go out and heal many people. And guess what? They did. And they lived happily ever after. No, I'm just kidding. Just keep reading. Sometimes some of it's not that great. But in eternity, they're living happily ever after. So I just encourage you today that when you walk with Jesus, sometimes it's a little rocky. Sometimes it's a little scary. Sometimes there are going to be people who speak negatively into your life, but they are not the ones who give you your identity or your authority. So keep walking with Jesus today. Keep your eyes fixed on him, and remember whose you are. You belong to Jesus. All right. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.